welcome to our nice intimate cohort for the West LA Biotech 001 Pre-Apprenticeship Program. And welcome to your official graduation. Go on. So the first thing we'd like to do is remind everybody of the folks that helped make Bio-Flex happen. And that includes Wendy Johnston, who's on with us today. And the logos of the companies that you see in front of you are all part of our advisory committee. And I'm just seeing who that is. No idea. And then we also, one of the reasons we like to remind you of who's on this, on the advisory committee is that if you should want to do network interviews, we do highly suggest that you go in and look at their company websites, see if there's something of interest to you there. If there are, or if there are job postings that look of interest, even if you're not, ready for them, you may want to do an interview. We've talked about network interviews. This is a great opportunity. What we would suggest is if you see one of the companies and you see something on their website that you would like to talk with someone, to let Amelia or me know, and we will make that introduction for you. So it's a great way to get yourself started about knowing more about the industry. We also very much like to acknowledge those that have participated as guest speakers. Hopefully you remember the workshops that we had. We tried to work with innovators, with environment, with sustainability, with the big manufacturers, the small businesses. So those are the folks that you see represented, and getting a sense of different occupations. Also a reminder that there are other expanding career opportunities workshops on our South Bay Web YouTube channel, so you can see others that have participated. Funding for this group is thanks to both West LA College, Tiffany Miller, who is the Dean of Apprenticeship, and of course Dr. Martin, and Howmet Aerospace Foundation. They have given us the flexibility to broaden the experiences of pre-apprenticeship for anything related to advanced manufacturing, and biotechnology is definitely part of advanced manufacturing. Corinne, would you like to take a moment to talk a little bit about how you see the program and how it integrates with what you're doing?
Well, I think it's a great opportunity to give. So first of all, thank you very much for giving the opportunity for students to attend this program. And it's a great opportunity for students to actually have an idea of what is done in biotech, the different companies that are in LA, and there are quite a few. So I think that's important to see how broad the biotech area is, and to have actually as well opportunities to talk with people in the industry, to be introduced to them. This is a big deal. So I'm very thankful, and I'm very happy that my students participated. So I congratulate you. I know that you're very busy with other classes and other duties, life as well as courses. But yes, you managed to stick in and be part of this program. So congratulations for this.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it. Okay, go on.
Just wanted to give an overview of what the program that the students participated in, which, as Dr. Martin said, this was a great collaboration. We've been talking about this for a long time with Tiffany Miller about, and with Dr. Martin about how we could incorporate the Bio-Flex Pre-Apprenticeship around the West LA College Biotech 001 class. So, so the students, as you all remember, you did 3 tracks of the program. The first track was work readiness. And so you completed the Blueprint for Workplace Success program. And then we did a workshop about how to start and also change into a career in bioscience, because some of you are just getting started into bioscience, into your career path, and some of you have been in different industries and are trying to figure out how to change into bioscience. And then track 2, you were doing your class at West LA College for your related technical skills. And then as part of track 3, we did 2 different workshops where we brought in a variety of different employers to be able to help hopefully inspire you about the wide range of opportunities that there are within bioscience. And then we've been throughout the past couple months, and we'll continue as we find professional connections to introduce you to, we're making that happen. So this has been the 3-track adventure of the past couple months.
I think all of you have done your surveys, which are very, very important to us. And please make sure that you join LinkedIn. And if you don't have a profile already, we are happy to help you, or I'm sure Dr. Martin would help you, or somebody at the college, but we're happy to help you as well. But we definitely want you up there so that you can get the information that we post and also participate.
Yeah, so even though you're graduating today, we hope by you joining the LinkedIn group, we can stay in touch and be able to share more resources, events, information, job postings, all kind of relevant resources as you continue on your career path. Okay, so now we're ready to get to our keynote speaker.
Okay, well, talking about, as Dr. Martin said, life and coursework keeping you busy. Some of you have at least seen a little bit about Elizabeth in our introductions on our emails. But to remind you, Elizabeth Mendes is a pharmacology and cancer biology PhD student at Duke University School of Medicine. Her very inspiring story involves a career pathway with amazing twists and turns and multiple barriers she's pushed through as a first-generation college student. We invite you to sit back and reflect on your journey as we welcome Elizabeth to our Bio-Flex Pre-Apprenticeship stage. You're on, Elizabeth.
Hi, everyone. So thank you for the opportunity to speak. I'm going to make my personal view, so I'm not just staring at myself. I was going to do slides, but I figured it's my first time meeting all of you. And I want you to feel like you're actually talking to me a little bit. I don't want to come on here and, give this whole story without giving a little bit about me. Deborah, thank you for the introduction. And when she asked me to speak today, I was actually really flattered. I've never done a type of talk like this, but it's always been really important to me to try to share things I've learned along the way through school or different jobs and just life in general. So good evening, everyone, and congratulations. First of all, this is really a big accomplishment just to have some exposure to the field of biotech. And you should all be really proud of yourself because you're just getting started in the world of biotech and you're already getting your feet wet, and that's the most important thing. As Deborah said, I'm a PhD student, but my path to get here has not necessarily been straightforward, which I will go into a little bit. But I definitely wanted to come on and just kind of give a little bit of an informal introduction. Right now, you guys are all taking steps towards your future career. Growing up, we were all told that at some point in time that scientists were specific types of people, and it always seemed like that type of job was reserved for somebody born into a very fortunate circumstance. I'm kind of here and I like to talk about that perception, at least that I had and some other people maybe had, is actually wrong. And actually what matters most, whether you're in the sciences or switching jobs or starting a new career, is how you walk through the hard things and how you walk through the fire. Growing up, this is a little bit about me. I looked up to my parents a lot. I come from a family with very humble beginnings. I lived below the poverty line majority of my life. My dad was an immigrant from Brazil, and my mom was one of 10 from a big family in Boston. She has the Boston accent and everything. But my father always told me stories about growing up and how he didn't even have things like shoes to walk to school in. But he still eventually found a way to get to Mexico and come to the United States and then have this life here, which included having me. And that's kind of something I'll always be grateful for, and was a great example to just kind of have just growing up. My mother was always the definition of what I would call resilient. I used to spend just countless time thinking about how did this woman manage to raise me and my siblings just despite everything that was getting thrown at us, whenever I would ask her about this, she would always be like, well, you just got to find a way, Liz. You got to find a way to do it because you have to, or, you know, there's going to be a consequence. So you either find a way or you're not going to be happy in life. So she always kind of went forward with this really big heart and didn't allow things like failure to get into her way. So together, my parents, even though they eventually did get a divorce and my mom raised us on her own, were just really strong examples to show me that, you know, regardless of where you're starting in life, you could really make something of yourself and improve things for the people who come after you. Now, I just kind of want to give a little more context about everything and hopefully some insight. How are we supposed to visualize things like success when it feels like we're the first person to do something, or there's a huge list of things that we need to do to get to the goal that we want? And making things like career changes is scary, at least for me, and I have made a lot of those. So one of the first big changes that I would say threw me off my feet was I was just in 3rd grade and I had gotten a call from recess, and my mom and my aunt were there to pick me up. And she said that we were moving and I had to say bye to my friends at recess, run upstairs, pack up my cubby and just leave. And I was like, wait, hold on, moving? Like, this doesn't make sense. Why do I have to do this thing? You know, how am I gonna, this derails the whole plan. Like, I thought I was going to do X, Y, and Z in this school, and now I have to make a whole new life for myself, which I would equate that feeling to maybe like making a career change or something, you know, new that comes up in life, and you don't know how you're going to do it, but somehow you manage to get through it, you know, even though it may seem impossible. So in those moments, I always think it's most important to look towards the people who are there for you, like your parents or mentors or even teachers. I always took advice from the people around me, quite literally. I remember I had a teacher who said, you're supposed to sit up straight with your hands folded so you look like you're a good student. I would want to do that because I wanted to do well. And I just trusted the people who showed that they cared for me. And that really allowed me to, I think, fulfill my full potential, even though I didn't exactly know what I was doing. And so to go on a little more, I know this has kind of been a little runaround of a story of my life and, you know, how things could be hard, but we got to push through them. And if I was listening to this, I'd be like, all right, so you stayed positive throughout all these hard things, but what do you do if you can't find a way to do anything about your hard circumstance? And to that, I would say, again, just ask a question. Don't be afraid to ask questions. And that's why getting on resources like LinkedIn and getting involved in a program and talking to me or Deborah or the other mentors that you have around you is so important, because you never know who they're going to introduce you to. Like, I had the great opportunity to speak to you all today just about things that I love, which is science and my career and, you know, trying to help people. But that's just because I randomly messaged this scientist I knew on Instagram once, and now he connected me with someone else, and things have been really taking off for me. And it seems like it comes out of nowhere. And it's just because all the little things you're doing, like being in this program and making your first LinkedIn profile, it all counts and it's all going to pay off. So with that, I would like to say a deep congratulations again. And I'm happy to connect with any of you on LinkedIn or via email. I can have Deborah send out my contact info. And I wish you the best of luck in the world of science.
Myself on mute so you didn't get any noise back here. Thank you, Elizabeth. I'm going to open it up to questions. If anybody has any questions or comments or things you'd like to explore with Elizabeth, don't be shy.
This is Wendy, and I would love to know how you chose the path through your college to where you are now. Why this topic?
Yes, so I was actually hoping that I would have a chance to just kind of like explain this in a non-talky format, because I didn't want to sound like I was just listing off all the things I've done. So I always was pretty nerdy with school and like going to school, like studying I remember watching TV when I was little, and I'd just be fascinated by things like the Discovery Channel, where they come out, have like this professor up in like a stool, and he's like talking about the fancy thing he likes to do. And I was like, wow, that would be so awesome to be the person who's so knowledgeable in a field that they call me to go on TV and sit there and talk about this thing that's super specific. So I just kind of always found interest in random details or trivia facts and all that kind of stuff. So I was a history science buff all throughout middle school, high school, and I was like, well, I have to go to college for that, I think. So my mom always said, you know, Liz, well, if you want to go to college, we definitely can't afford it, so you're gonna have to do good in school. And I was like, all right, do perfect in school, got it, say no more. And so I just kind of went forward with that. And I think I was lucky enough to just have a bit of self-motivation, and my mom, who was just kind of always she didn't like hound me about doing well in school. She would just be like, Liz, oh, I know you're going to do fine. You're doing great. No worries. It's you're going to do awesome. Even though these seems like giant things, like I'm getting my PhD at Duke, but I was born like, and with barely anything, and have been in Section 8 housing, and have had really hard things throughout my life. And, like a single parent, all that stuff, like stuff that I just like thought was like only happened on TV. And I credit a lot of it just to meeting the right people and not being scared to be like, hey, this is my dream. This is what I want to do. So in college, I let myself explore my interests and keep going into like the things I was passionate about. And I eventually got into biology, and I wanted to do plant biology, ecology, stuff like that at first. And then that didn't really work out. So I decided to do some research in Costa Rica for a bit, which I was fortunate enough to just apply for a grant. And then lucky enough that a mentor that I had sponsored part of the trip because they believed in me. So it's just continuously along the way, these things just happen where you don't think they're going to happen, or you don't think maybe that you deserve for this awesome thing to happen in your life, and then they do because you just keep working at it and people see that and recognize it. But yeah, so like even though I was a biologist and then a teacher after I finished undergrad, and then I decided to go back and get a master's because I thought maybe I wanted to do molecular biology, even though I had done, plant biology for a really long time. And I was like, oh, I can't do the genetic stuff, but I did it anyway. And then I was like, wow, I don't think I'm good enough for a PhD program. And then I got a fellowship and did research and was encouraged to apply to competitive schools I didn't think I'd get into, just because, my master's was at a state school and I thought I wasn't prestigious enough or cut out for it. But it's actually like, you end up finding people along the way where if you tell them like, hey, this is what I want, like, I know if I would help anyone as much as I could to try to be like, hey, let's make you successful because that makes me feel good too. And then there's more people doing science and stuff, and science is awesome. But that's, I give very drawn out answers sometimes, but that's just me as a person.
And because you've had a very interesting twist and turn for, a relatively young lady.
And there's like no streamlined way I feel like to say it. I don't know, unless like I had like a timeline behind where I could just be like first, second. But LinkedIn in my CV is much more detailed and specific about individual things I've done if you are curious about more. But the main idea is it really doesn't matter how much times you change fields. As long as you keep the same skill set and motivation and work hard and use your resources, you could be successful at any job. And I think I genuinely think like anybody could be a scientist. Like it's like baking. You learn how to do the recipe, you tweak the recipe, you go on. And these things don't need to be scary, or the barriers don't need to be there. And I don't understand why they are. And I feel like if somebody told me that things weren't as scary as it seemed, like I wouldn't have had a lot of trouble that I did along the way. So just keep going, and you deserve to be here, and you're doing great.
Interesting. Anybody else have any questions?
I don't have a question. I just have thank you. And this is so inspiring. Thank you so
Oh,
much.
I'm so glad. Thank you so much.
I'm just
I was
like,
so nervous.
I want to listen to you again more. It's like, what did you do in Costa Rica and what are you doing now?
Oh yeah, we could have
It's
like
amazing.
tea time, and I could tell you about all my little Liz adventures.
It's amazing. One of the things that you said that I actually share with you is it's not to be scared to ask. And just because these are the contact, this is something that can just send you in a field that you haven't thought about before. And these are the people who are going to help you, and we can help your career and change your career. And as I'm always telling my students, I'm very shy. And so for me to speak is actually, once I start speaking, it's okay, but to speak is very difficult for me. To get in touch with people, it's very difficult.
Yeah, I have like a really hard time with like first interactions. And I don't know if it's the internet that helped me, because like I grew up with like MySpace and that kind of stuff. So I was used to kind of posting on the internet, but still being allowed to be shy in real life. So it's kind of weird trying to deconstruct that boundary with like the pandemic and everything. And so it's definitely forced me to try to be more outgoing, because I want to help people and share things. So I have to talk. Like I can't.
But as you said, people are willing to help. People are like, just dare to ask. And it's what I would just want to tell everyone else, all the students, like dare to ask people. I mean, this is something that is so helpful, and people are willing to help. Don't be scared.
Yeah, definitely. Nikki has a question. Do you want me to read it, or you want to ask it, Nikki?
I can ask.
Go ahead.
Okay, thanks. Hi, Elizabeth. I'm Nikki.
Nice to meet you.
Thank you so much for speaking. Very inspiring.
Oh, no problem.
Curious. What do you think the best resource for you? What do you think has been the best resource as you kind of move forward in your career?
Honestly, I would say keeping touch with people that I met along the way. So for example, like you could go through a class, for example, like going through this program, and you make like a relationship with Amelia and Deborah and Dr. Martin, and you're like, okay, yeah, I really vibed with them all, and like I want to stay in touch. Like maintaining that connection over time in a way that you like don't like allow yourself to think as like all the people you interact with in your career as like your friends or people you meet like in like public or just at the grocery store, which for a while I was hesitant to do that, but it's helped me so much when I just like will approach someone and ask them a question that I would ask like a friend or for advice, and then they'd give me really genuine advice, or straight up asking a mentor that I've known for 10 years, like, can you give me constructive criticism and let me know where I messed up here? Like frequently, like with my PI that I have now, and she's like the sweetest person ever. So I'll just be like, hey, Corinne, like, I don't really know like how to ask this, but I need to ask, like, am I meeting every expectation I should? Like, do you have any like constructive feedback you could give me? Like, da-da-da-da-da. And just being very literal about my interactions with people and maintaining those connections allows me to like reflect on myself a lot and adjust the things I need to. And eventually I'll be like, hey, Deborah, how are you? And then Deborah will be like, oh, great. By the way, I was talking to this person and I think you might get to know them or like them. And then I'll get connected with that person. And then all of a sudden I have a new job. Like the first job I had in the legal field actually was because of Instagram, which was hilarious. I was starting my master's degree in molecular biology, and I needed a part-time job because I was paying for my master's out of pocket pretty much, and then trying to work and live, like I'm married, but at the time Travis was my boyfriend, but so like, trying to keep up with all like life things, like my mom was sick with cancer, like a whole ton was going on. But a friend was like, hey, I used to work for this attorney. Do you want the job? Like, it's just kind of like desk work, but it's better than retail. And so I was like, heck yeah, I'll do that. And then I got interested in the legal field. I was like, wow, there's law and science and there's this merge. So I got interested in patent law. And then I started talking to patent attorneys and got offered a job for a patent attorney in California, actually in Long Beach. And that's like getting into patent law isn't an easy thing to do, but it was just this woman. I was like, hey, can you tell me how to be a patent attorney? And she was like, yeah, by the way, I need a job. And I was like, yeah. So just don't be scared to say hi, even if it's a celebrity. Like the Dr. Catalin Carrico, one of the first people who made the founding technology for the mRNA vaccine, she's just on the cover of Time. She just added me on LinkedIn, just added me and messaged me back. And I was like, so yeah, even if you're nervous, shy, keep in touch with people and keep doing the thing.
Yeah, and a good example of just what you said is with the other workshops we've had, where we've had at least 6 people from different businesses that all of you have been part of. If you followed up with the links that Amelia sent out with their LinkedIn or their email, and you put them on your list, and you became, even if it's just LinkedIn, they're there, and so you will see what they post. You can make a comment. I totally believe in what Elizabeth is saying in terms of networking, and a lot of people say, well, I don't have time for that. And I said, but I bet you have time for Twitter, and I bet you have time for Facebook or whatever you're using. And LinkedIn, I'm not on more than maybe once every other day, but it's enough to just find it.
Like,
yeah.
I like the content I get on LinkedIn. It's really completely different than like when I first signed up for the app. And it's the time, by the way, if any of you guys want to be into science communication, now is the time to get on LinkedIn and start posting, because the algorithm is about to like pick up and a lot of things are happening. So like pre-TikTok boom, that's about to happen on LinkedIn. So science communication is also a great thing too for you're all in biotech. It's awesome. Like I'm doing it kind of with my graduate program. So it's just a fun thing to do. If you like public speaking and meeting people and stuff and want to find a way to help build your network, that's a good way to do it.
Anybody else have any questions or comments? No? Well, as you know, you will have Elizabeth's LinkedIn link, and do you want them to communicate that way, or email, or what's best for you?
Any form of communication is fine. Email, LinkedIn, whatever. Twitter, Instagram. You can find me. So
go on whatever you like. And and also this is part of the Bio-Flex Pre-Apprenticeship group. Actually, it's apprenticeship, it's everybody. We'll keep those comments, and when I see something, even if it's on my personal LinkedIn, that's relevant to each of you, I will copy it and put it onto Bio-Flex. So you will see it there. Great. Well, Elizabeth, thank you so very, very much. And welcome to stay on while we let the students have a minute or two.
Absolutely.
One virtual round of applause.
Yes.
Thank you, Elizabeth.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Inspiring words. That's great. Okay, so it's time to meet our graduates. And as during these COVID times where we have to be very creative, we want to let you know that we're recognizing you today, but you're going to get your certificates in the mail. So since we can't do this in person, so we're going to mail those, and you should be getting those soon. And just so you know what they look like this, and they have all the different partners that Deborah was talking about that are part of the Bio-Flex Apprenticeship Committee. And so by completing this program, you kind of join the alumni of the Bio-Flex community. And so having this on your resume is great, especially when reaching out to any of these different organizations down here. Okay, so we're gonna recognize you in alphabetical order by last name, just so you know when you're coming. And if you could each say a couple words, unmute yourself and say a couple words about your experience in the program. So what made you want to participate, and what you really got out of the program, any highlights for you of what was most valuable, and then just any thoughts you have about next steps of kind of what you're thinking is next for you on your pathway. Okay, so without further ado, Leroy Anderson.
Hi, my name is Leroy Anderson. I originally joined the program so I could go towards the designing prosthetics for companies. And, I hope to meet other people at, not what to, yes, to meet other people and see other experiences so I can get an idea on the field. But not only that, but I also seen different types of biotechnology fields. So it kind of expanded my mind in which way I actually want to go towards. And I thank you for that.
Yay, that's our goal. That's awesome. Congratulations, Leroy.
Good job, Leroy. Thank you.
Okay, next we have Nikki Cohen.
Hi, pardon the family back here talking behind me. So thank you very much, Deborah and Dr. Martin, everybody, Wendy, for having me in the program. It was really cool, and I really appreciate everything. I wanted to join the program because I wanted to learn more about biotechnology and all the different fields and industries that fall under biotechnology. I had no idea. And I learned a lot about, just now from Elizabeth, I didn't know that science communications was a thing. And I would like to actually connect with her and talk more about that. But that was one of the cool things I've learned. And I wanted to join to learn about that. It didn't hurt to get a little extra credit in my biotech course, I have to admit. And I made a nice connection with Helen after the first Zoom meeting. She was really great and kind of, I think, will be a mentor for me, which is really neat. I appreciate that. What I really learned, honestly, was I've been really scared because of my age to get into something new. And it seems like science is such a, huge thing. I may not end up with a PhD or anything like that. And it seems like it's very far out of reach to me. But through this process, I learned that life's experience is something that people, may take for granted sometimes, but there is no substitute for somebody with experience. And I feel like I have a little more, I'm more open to what can happen in the future, and I'm not as scared. So I thank you all for that.
Oh, yay, Nikki.
It's great.
That's awesome. Oh, that's so exciting. Well, congratulations.
Nikki, do check the chat.
Sorry, I'm sorry. I didn't
Check
hear
the chat when you're done.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay, next up we have Nandi Favors. Nandi, I know. Oh, yay, your microphone's working.
Yeah, I fixed it. Hi, my name is Nandi. I originally wanted to do computer programming. I took the computer science pathway in high school, but I wanted to learn more about biotechnology. And after I took AP Bio for the first time in high school, sorry, the door is opening right now. It's kind of loud. But anyway, from this course, I learned a lot about the versatility of biotechnology and all the different fields that are a part of it, like the medicine part, the engineering part, the environmental part. And I'm really grateful that I had the chance to learn about all those different parts of it.
Yay, Nandi, that's awesome. Yeah, learning about all the options is the first step, right? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, congratulations, Nandi. Okay, next we have Elsie Herrera. Elsie, can you unmute yourself?
Hello. Sorry, I'm like really sick.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that.
The reason I joined the program was to get more insight into the biotech world, just get more familiar with the process of applying, and also just to see what other opportunities I can get involved with. I felt that the modules also help to kind of reinforce things that we should know in the workplace. Every job is different, and just kind of learning those modules kind of like freshened things that I should think about on the workplace, and also just things that I should work on in the future. um I also liked a lot the the um the speakers that spoke through the program, where they just explained what they would do, and also their career path, and just how long it took them for them to realize that that's where they wanted to work for the company, and just their career. And I also enjoyed connecting with Lindsay and Dave, that helped me kind of prepare my application, my resume for applying to like programs, to jobs, and then specifically the bioscience LA program. I was really interested on it, and I applied, and I was able to connect with Dave, and he kind of told me about the program, and just the opportunities that the bioscience LA has for students. And yeah, so I just want to give thank you to Amelia and Deborah and Dr. Barden for having this program for students that are able to get more insights into the biotech world. I had no idea like of things that I kind of learned through the program, and just um with these mentors, right, that I connected with, and I learned a lot. So thank you so much for providing all these resources for us.
Great. You bring up you reminded me of something, Elsie. Thank you. The program, in case some of you aren't familiar, the program that Elsie was referring to when she said Lindsay, you may remember Lindsay from Biolabs, and Dave Whelan with Bioscience LA. There's a program there that's called BioFutures. That's for summer internships, and community college students are very, very encouraged to apply. Also, if you're on our LinkedIn, I have posted at least 2 other, I think even more, opportunities for summer internships. So get on that site, because that's where we're putting this stuff. And some of them have deadlines. In fact, there's a couple up there now that have deadlines coming up.
Awesome. Thank you, Elsie. I'm so excited that you were able to make some really valuable connections and learn about more resources, because there are a lot of resources out there, especially locally. So that's awesome. And I'm sorry you're not feeling well. This is where I guess it is nice to do a virtual graduation. It allows you to join.
Yeah.
And we can show your beautiful picture.
I have COVID, it's really bad. Like, you should get the booster if you haven't. I really recommend it.
Good girl. Thank you. Tell all your friends and family. Good for you.
Take it
Good.
easy.
Okay.
Okay, so now we have two more graduates who were not able to make it today, but we still want to recognize them. So Marco Pacheco, he said he had to work tonight, unfortunately, so he was not able to make it, but we definitely want to acknowledge him and on this achievement of completing the program. Our 6 graduates. Yay! Virtual round of applause for our graduates.
So you join about, what do we have now? About 100 and how many graduates? 100 and something graduates. So you join you join a nice group of folks, and you can be following apprenticeships as you're ready, looking at that opportunity, but definitely check out the opportunities that are immediate on our Bio-Flex LinkedIn site. And as long as you have a LinkedIn profile, you can access it. So again, let us know if you need help. So I do want to, again, thank everybody, those of you that were here today, both the students and our guests that were here today. Thank you again to Elizabeth for helping us celebrate this occasion. Again, this will be on our South Bay Web YouTube channel. So if you want to go back and hear what you sounded like, you all sounded great. I'm very impressed. You'll be able to do that. And kind of think as kind of a parting word, I would take what Elizabeth said when she said, heck yeah, I'll do that. I thought that was a great quote for this group. So that's the attitude to have. Okay, any closing words? Yeah, thank you. Anybody has any closing words? No? Then we wish you all a good holiday season. Stay well. Elsie, get well. Remember to get tested if you have any concerns, and you all know how to reach us. And we look forward to hearing good things about each one of you. And you have lots of people to use as mentors through this program. You have our emails, and probably we'll send out a kind of a summary. Maybe we can do that, Amelia, a summary of all the contacts and how to reach them. So you have it in one place. Okay. Thank you all very, very much. Karine, Wendy, thank you for joining us.
Yes, congratulations, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Happy holidays, everyone.
Yes, happy holidays. Definitely.